محمد إلا رسول قد خلت من قبله الرسل أفإن مات أو قتل انقلبتم على أعقابكم ومن ينقلب على عقبيه فلن يضر الله شيئا وسيجزي الله الشاكرين. Dearest brothers and sisters, viewers and listeners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My deepest apologies for being late today, but it was something that I couldn't really avoid. We are grateful that we are alive and we have taken a very great decision, even though it's not the best kind of weather, to leave work and to leave our personal chores and to come together that we could review life. And as I've always said to myself and you, there is no ritual in Islam that we do just for the sake of doing. We don't go to work for the sake of going to work. We don't build a house for the sake of building a house. We don't buy a car because we like how it looks. There's a higher and a deeper purpose. And the greater purpose of us coming together, apart from all the goodies of meeting one another and sharing smiles and kind words and many other good things, par excellence, the reason is that we can leave here richer than we enter, with the meaning and the message that Prophet brought to his community in the 7th century and allowed those who responded to it to change their FATE to become people of substance and essence. By next week, around this time, Muslims all over the world will go berserk over the personality of the beloved Prophet. Because around that time, it's supposed to be what is known in the history as the 12th of Rabiul Awwal. And the moment you hear that, if you grow up in the Arab world, or you grow up in Asia, or you grow up in the Caribbean or in Africa, the birthday of the Prophet is a big thing. Of course, there are people who, of course, say, you cannot celebrate the birthday of the Prophet. And of course, there are those who say you can celebrate it. I am not here to discuss that. To me, that's uselessness. To fight over whether you can celebrate it or don't celebrate it. We have taken so many extreme positions in many things that are the result for the internal fight and pulling down of one another like crabs in a barrel. I grew up in a country where I see a lot of crabs. Maybe you don't. I saw crabs as the crab tried to get to the top. I always used to look at them as a little boy. I was hoping that the crab will get away. But as one crab gets to the top, another one will pull him down. But let's get back. Rabi al-Awwal, to a lot of Muslims, almost all Muslims, bring tremendous emotional outbursts. Most of the Muslims, they go berserkers, I tell you. I've been to Muslim communities outside Canada, in Asia, where they start celebrating. And then you need to understand what is the nature of their celebration. They start celebrating from day one. From the beginning of Rabiul Awwal, they will celebrate to the whole end of the month. And all kinds of stories and singing and all kinds of narrations they preoccupy themselves with. And you would think, when you hear these people that they really love this man, this messenger, this prophet, you would think these people really love him. So much so, they cannot hear his name without saying words of Arabic. Because that's how they were brought up. They feel when you hear his name, you have got to say Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That's the only meaning given to them. And for most of them, that's all their relationship with this great mighty messenger. When they hear his name, they cannot be quiet. They have to say Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the only meaning of Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that their scholars teach them, and you know the Muslims are generally people who don't study. They don't study Qur'an, they study everything else. So they take what their scholars tell them, whether they're from Asia, or the Arab world, or the Caribbean, or North America, they just swallow it. And they say Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam means, oh God, please bless him and shower peace on him. And they too, in their practical life, the average Muslim, when he hears the name or when he reads chapter 33 verse 56, إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. What you think they do? Because their knowledge of Qur'an is almost less than kindergarten, they send their blessings on the Prophet. Because the translation of the regular popular Qur'anic verse for this, verily Allah and His angels bless the Prophet. O you who believe, send you blessings on him also and salute him in the best way. So guess what? They are blessing the Prophet. And they bless the Prophet and they send peace on him. It would have been better if these Muslims understood what is blessings. And if they are really blessed or capable to bless. And if somebody like the Prophet needs your blessing or my blessing. But like so many things, religion to people doesn't have to make sense. Religion to people doesn't have to be realistic. And Muslims fall into that trap. They keep saying things over and over. What I will tell you, you don't have to take my word for it. Go to any bookstore, get an Arabic dictionary, good one. And go and see the meanings of the word taslima, the root from salima, which I will give you some explanation today. And the meaning of salah from the language. Just do all these studies. And then you will understand why is it Muslims have held on to this idea that taslima means to say salam. And they have missed 9/10 of the other meanings of the verb, of the word. That's why most Muslims, their relationship with the Prophet is to sing praise for him. And they have the least relationship with his message. And they have little evidence to show that his teachings are actually benefiting them. They feel because he was an Arab, and right now if you go in the Caribbean, it's getting momentum here, but if you go in the Caribbean, if you go in Asia, the big thing is to look like an Arab, is to dress like an Arab, even though you don't have any real substantial evidence from the Qur'an that this is what is required of you and me. Because dressing like an Englishman doesn't make me an Englishman. Dressing like a Pakistani doesn't make me a Pakistani. Dressing like an African in the dashiki doesn't make me an African. But this is the main vibe in the Muslim community.